Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a dolls I don't want video. We are squeezing in one last one of these before the year ends. So if you're not familiar with that concept, if you haven't seen this series from me before, these set of videos is where I talk about dolls that have either come out recently or that are going to be coming out soon that I don't plan on buying for one reason or another. Sometimes it's a budget thing. Sometimes I think it's a perfectly fine doll, but it's just not an aesthetic that I particularly like. And sometimes I'm talking about dolls that I just think are out and out but ugly. I know for sure we have one of those this video at least, so be prepared for that one, I suppose. I will be doing a companion video with this one, a dolls I do want, as my next upload. I don't always get to do those just because sometimes in a given period of time there aren't enough dolls that I do want to buy or that I'm like interested in buying to make one of those, but I think I have just enough this time to go ahead and dedicate a video to it. So next upload will be the more positive version of this, and we'll be taking a look at the dolls that I do want to buy. But for today, we're focusing on critiquing and criticizing, and hopefully it will still be fun. Of course, these are just my opinions. If I say that I hate it all that you absolutely adore, it's nothing against you. It doesn't mean that I think you're a bad person or anything like that. We just have different tastes and different aesthetics, which is totally chill. But yeah, I think that's everything I gotta say for the intro, so let's go ahead and get into the dolls. Alrighty, so we are starting off with Barbie, and the first entry on today's list is the new Lunar New Year Barbie. This is a perfect example of a doll that I think is very, very pretty, but I just don't really want to buy her. It is another mermaid gown, which like at this point is kind of funny. Like I feel like collectors have been complaining about the mermaid gown collector dolls being like so common for so long now, and yet it just continues to be a trend. And I think it's hilarious. I will say, I think this is a really pretty mermaid gown. Like, if you take away the fact that there have been so many other collector dolls with this silhouette, it is really, really beautifully executed. The sleeves, especially, I think are so, so gorgeous on this doll, and the print and everything. Like, there's genuinely nothing about her that I'm pointing to that I'm like, that's ugly. I don't feel that way. I just don't think that I like her enough to want to own her. So, nothing wrong with her. I will be enjoying her from afar, but I'm not going to buy her. Same thing cannot be said for the Bob Mackie Angel doll. Side note, I do just feel like I should mention this. We got stock photos for like the proper holiday Barbie quite early in the year. So I'm not going to talk about her in today's video. She was featured in, God, I don't even know if it was like the last two dolls I don't want videos. I talked about her at some point. I'm not going to get her, but we're focusing on the Bob Mackie Angel for this year. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to touch on that because it's December. I feel like it might be expected that I talk about the holiday Barbie, but I've already gone over her. We're not going to do it again. Um, yeah, I don't like this doll. If you do, that is so super. I just think she's so ugly. There have been 3 of the Bob Mackie Angels. This one is allegedly the final one. And I mean, the first one was okay. The second one was fine. At this point, I'm kind of like, I know they're in a series. Like, I get that. It's like the 3 angels, whatever. But I am kind of bored by the same wing and like halo silhouette. Like, it's just not something that, I don't know, it doesn't feel as interesting to me at this point, seeing it for the 3rd year in a row. But beyond that, I just genuinely think this is by far the worst design. Like, the best way I can put it is I feel like, you know, like when you're wrapping gifts, some people are really neat and tidy about it, and some people make an absolute disaster zone. I'm pretty tidy about it, I would like to think. My husband, love you dearly, Anthony, if you watch this, he's less so. Like there's like little bits of paper and like stuff kind of just everywhere. Obviously, like you clean it up in the end. But this feels as though you took all of those like scraps of paper and bows and just shoved it on the doll and was like, yeah, that's cute enough, right? I don't know. It looks like Christmas wrapping paper threw up on this doll, and I just don't vibe with it. Again, I'm sorry. Like, if you love this doll, that is super. I just think she's ugly, so I'm not going to get her. And then yet another, like, holiday-centric Barbie. This one is the 12 Days of Christmas Barbie. And yeah, not a fan. In general, I don't really tend to like the Barbies that have that super vintage face mold. It's just far from my face mold. Far from my face mold. I mean, it is. My face does not look like that, really. But I meant to say, far from my favorite face mold from Barbie. I get that it's iconic. I don't like it. And I also think that overall the design for this doll is giving very like 50s housewife, which is not really what I'm going for. Plus, like, even if I did like her, I wouldn't end up getting this doll because she is 160 damn US dollars. What? Like, that's crazy to me. I write down what she's made of? I think it says vintage vinyl. I don't know what that means. I know that Barbie does have like different materials that they'll use for some collector dolls. There's like the vintage vinyl, there's silkstone. I understand that some of those are like better materials and like it costs more because of that. I truly do not care. You cannot convince me that this doll is worth 160 US dollars. Like, you just can't. I'm so sorry. Like, I think that she does not look good to begin with, and she certainly does not look expensive enough to justify that price tag. So, like, double whammy for reasons that I don't want this doll. And then to kind of move on to a subset of Barbie, we do have two additions to the Dream Besties lineup that I want to talk about today. The first of which is a Ken, which I actually do think is really, really solid. He's another doll, much like the Lunar New Year Barbie, where I don't have anything about him that I don't actively think is like nice. I just don't think I like him enough to want to get him. But I really think this is an excellent Ken doll, especially because we all know this. In general, male dolls tend to just feel like they get less attention than female dolls. It feels like they get less budget and like the designs are less creative and less interesting. I feel like this one is genuinely so solid. I love the face sculpt because the Barbie Dream Besties have like kind of a more cartoonish, cutesy face sculpt and like aesthetic overall, right? Compared to, I mean, I don't know, actual Barbie is also pretty cutesy, but like especially the face mold and everything, like there's just something more cute about it, right? Does that make I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but they definitely have like a more stylized vibe. Maybe that's a good way to put it compared to a normal Barbie. And I do feel like companies can struggle to put Kens into that style without making them look just horrifically and awkwardly baby faced. I'm definitely thinking of River from Rainbow High, like before they figured out how to do a nice boy's face mold. I feel bad. Like at this point, River's been out for so long, and I'm like still poking at it. But I just feel like it is something that companies kind of struggle with sometimes when it comes to like cuter lines. But this Ken looks absolutely fabulous. It feels like he fits into the Dream Besties aesthetic without him feeling like he's just awkwardly baby faced and weird. I think this is an excellent face sculpt. He's got rooted hair, which actually looks nice. I think his outfit's really cute. And another big thing is the accessories. I feel like with the first round of the Dream Besties dolls, some of the accessories felt a bit random, like they weren't quite as cohesive as I would like to see. This Ken is the exact opposite of that. Like all of his pieces feel like they make so much sense and they go together well. This is really just like an excellent doll to me, which is funny that it's on this list because like I'm sitting here singing his praises for at least a minute straight, but I still don't want to buy him. And it really just does come down to like, I like it, but I don't know if I like it enough to want to spend my money on him. When the Dream Besties first came out, was like, oh, like I might try to get, I think it was Brooklyn was the one that I was like most interested in on a sale. I never ended up getting her. And at this point, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to dip my toes into the Dream Besties world. I'm not 100% opposed to it. Like, I'm definitely open to it if they release a doll in the future that I'm super into. But for now, I just don't think that it's a brand that I'm particularly interested in. So, good Ken, good design, good doll. I just don't really want to own this doll. And honestly, a lot of the same things could be said about the other Dream Besties doll that came out. I think her name is Daisy. I do think that her design is absolutely adorable. Probably my favorite that we've seen from Dream Besties so far. Like, just the colors, the pastels are really pretty. Her, like, faux crochet dress, I think, is quite cute. I will say, I don't know if it's, like, the color of her lips or something with the sculpt, but her mouth looks a little bit weird to me. That's me nitpicking though. Like genuinely, I do think that this is a really like nice doll. Just again, I don't feel like it quite crosses the threshold into me feeling like I personally need to own it. So I'm very happy for everyone who's excited about this. I am happy that she exists, but I don't need to own her. That brings us to the single Rainbow High entry for today's video, which is a couple of budget question mark chalk dolls. Like the chalk hair is the gimmick that they're going with for this one. I hesitate to call them budget because like at first glance, you look at the bodies and they have even less articulation than the Rainbow High standard is now. They don't have elbow or knee articulation. So they're definitely on like budget bodies. But also I think that they're retailing for 20 US dollars, which like, I don't know, it feels like a little bit much to justify calling it like a budget doll. I don't really know. That's not the point of this video. So there are two of them. There's Amaya and then Malene. And I think it's really funny because I know I'm far from the only person who has said this, but Malene fully, like I thought she was Harper. And yeah, I mean, that's not really a critique. It's just kind of something that's funny. Like the colors are so similar for their hair and like their skin tone that I really genuinely thought this was Harper. But no, it's Malene, which is chill. Yeah, I don't love either of these. Taking a look at Amaya first, I do like the construction of her skirt. I think that's a very interesting like shape for a garment. I like all of that. I don't think I'm obsessed with how the rainbow was executed in it. Like the coloring is not quite it for me, but I do think that that's a really cute skirt. The top the top is interesting. It very much reminds me, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but of cheongsam, like the Chinese dresses. And I did a poll on my Instagram because my first reaction is like, is that weird? Like, is this so directly referencing that it becomes like kind of culturally odd? And y'all were very, very split. I think the final like poll results before that story went down was like 48 to 52, something very, very close like that between, oh yeah, that like is culturally inappropriate, or no, it's like loosely inspired by that, so it's fine. So y'all can let me know in the comments what you think about that. I guess my thing with it is clearly the question is there. Like there are people who do think that it's like not an appropriate style of shirt for Amaya to be wearing. And I just find it interesting that they chose to put it on Amaya because like they could have just put this on a Chinese character and then it wouldn't even be a question, right? I don't know. MGA is like really into trying to make Amaya happen. And like, I don't hate Amaya the same way I feel like a lot of people do. Like, so many adult collectors, it feels like, hate Amaya. I do think that she has cute designs. I do have several of her dolls. Like, I'm not an Amaya hater, okay? I feel like so many adult collectors really do hate Amaya. I don't know how she is with kids. Like, maybe she's super popular with kids and that's why Rainbow High is like so heavy on pushing her. But it really truly feels like they are just like Amaya is going to be a main character no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how you guys think or feel. She is a main character. It's just kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know. Lots of feelings on her. And then when it comes to Malene, yeah, I just don't like this. I am open to bubble skirts. I think that in certain contexts, they can be really, really cute, but I don't think this is one of them. Big thing is that it looks deflated. Like, this doesn't look like a normal bubble skirt. It looks like a bubble skirt that like got all the air sucked out of it. And then at first I thought that it was like, oh, I don't like the skirt, but at least I like the top. But when I zoom in and like really take a look at it, I actually don't know what's going on with her shirt. I don't know. Just overall, on almost every single level, these are a miss for me. So I won't be buying either of them. Next up, we have a couple of stock photos for some more Pixlings dolls that are coming out. And I always hate to put Pixlings on this list because y'all know I love the Pixlings so much. But like, sometimes they have designs that I just don't like. So the first one is How Lexa. And objectively, I honestly don't think that this is a bad design. I especially really do like her asymmetrical skirt. I think that's really cute. Like the sheer fabric, y'all know I'm a sucker for with like the stars on it. That's all very pretty. This is so niche. Both of my complaints about like the two Pixlings dolls are super particular. I'm just picky, okay? I can't help it. But everything about her design is giving me very like 2010 to 2015 galaxy print everywhere. I was a victim of this. I had galaxy print leggings that I wore everywhere. And that's all I can think about. And like, that isn't inherently a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying every galaxy print is hideous, but it's just not really what I want to think about when I look at this doll. And that is unfortunately all that I can see. So I just don't really have good feelings about her. So I won't be buying her. And then the second Pixlings doll I wanted to like even more. Her name is Tiggs. She's like a little tiger. And so much of this I think is cute. Y'all can make fun of me in the comments, okay? Because this is like ultimate petty levels of pickiness. I get that, okay? I understand that I'm realistically being maybe a tad unreasonable. I genuinely cannot help it though. I like so much about this doll. But what I cannot stand is that her entire body is this kind of like orangey tan color. Notably, her ears are also an orangey tan color. And then her tail is purple. And it just pisses me off. Like, it just doesn't look right to me. Even if her ears were purple, it could be like, okay, well, like the more humanoid parts of her are kind of more orangey, and then like the more animalistic parts are purple. That's fine. The fact that the only part of her body that is purple is her tail genuinely just irks me so bad. And again, I know I'm being unreasonable. I know this is silly and like it's a tiny thing to be upset about, but I cannot stop staring at it. And it really, really bothers me. And it's even sillier because I know that like that can happen with cats in real life. Like cats can have all kinds of crazy different patterns. You can absolutely have a cat that is, say, all white with a black tail because that's just like how the pattern worked out for them. But on a doll, I cannot accept this. I'm so sorry. Again, I know it's super silly, but I can't stop staring at it and it bothers me, so I'm not going to buy her. Oh, good God. Okay. That brings us to Bratz. And there's one in particular that I have a lot of feelings about, but we're going to ease into that. So, starting off with the Carol G release, I had to look up who Carol G was because I was unfamiliar with her when like this like stock photo came out and like when this announcement came out that Bratz was doing a collab with her. She's a musician who is apparently super popular in Latin America and like good for her. That's super cool. I don't know anything about her, so I already wasn't going to buy the doll just because like I'm not someone who judges other people if they buy like celebrity dolls of celebrities that they don't know, if like they just like the aesthetic, or like if you wear band tees and you don't listen to the band but you just think the like aesthetic is cool. I don't care if other people do that because like that's not my business, right? Like it doesn't matter. It's not that serious. But for me personally, I don't really like buying things for people that I'm unfamiliar with. It's just not something that I vibe with for me. Again, no judgment to y'all if you do that, but just for me, I don't really like it. So even though I do think that this is honestly a pretty cute Bratz, like I really like her hair color with the blonde on top and then like the pink underneath. I think she comes with some really cute pieces. I already wasn't going to get her, and it turns out that that's a good thing because apparently this was another disastrous drop on Bratz.com. She did have a restock, which seemed like it went a little bit better for people. But yeah, I heard this was an absolute nightmare. So I'm glad that I didn't want to get her because that means that I didn't have to go through the tenseness and disappointment of trying and failing to buy her. Then on the like playline level for Bratz, we have the Going Out line that like just went up on Amazon. I think as of time of filming, I think all of them except for Sasha are in stock right now. So like they're slowly trickling into being in stock. Hopefully will be in stores soon. First of all, I want to talk about Yasmin because again, we are easing into the worst of it. I think a lot about this doll is absolutely gorgeous. The base doll especially, that face, y'all. Her like ombre lips, like the very slight ombre to them is so pretty. I love her pearl necklace, the bustier that she has that is like got the design on it that's kind of like porcelain. That is so pretty. What kills me, and again, this is like very particular. It's a lot like Tig's. I'm sorry, I just can't help it. Is the way that her like bottom half of her dress is done. I'm going to call it a skirt. I know it's like a one piece. Like I know it's a dress underneath her bustier. I'm just calling it a skirt because I'm focusing on the bottom half. It looks like two skirts that were cut in half, like horizontally, and then sewn together. I think that the bubble aspect is executed a lot better on this than on Maline. I just feel like it looks less deflated. It's kind of a less extreme bubble skirt, and I would have been a total fan of it if it wasn't for like the ruching, and the ruching is not quite the right word. Like it's a full seam in the middle that just like goes all the way around. It just looks weird. Like it genuinely does look like the first dress got cut and they were like, oh shit, let's just like repair it. We'll just throw on this bubble skirt that's the same fabric and just stitched it together. I know it's particular, but it really bothers me. So I will not be getting her, but I can acknowledge that there's a lot to love about this doll. However, I cannot acknowledge that about the Chloe from the Going Out line. I'm so sorry. This doll is so fucking ugly to me. And again, like if you like her, that is so super. I'm happy that you're happy. Everything about her, I think, is genuinely awful. The least offensive piece is the shirt that she has on because I think that it could be cute with literally any other outfit, but unfortunately it was paired with this. Honestly, she reminds me a lot of the Always Bratz Jade. With that doll, I complained that it felt like none of her pieces went together, and instead of it feeling like she was trying to intentionally mix and match different style aesthetics and like to create her own, it just felt really random and really terrible. And that's exactly how I feel about this Chloe. It feels like she got dressed by just walking into her closet with a blindfold and grabbing the first item that she saw in each category. Like, okay, this is the first shirt I touch. This is the first jacket. Here's my first pair of pants. I guess that's what I'm wearing today, even though none of it fucking matches. I'm sorry, I'm getting heated. I genuinely think it's terrible. I guess that the like sweater situation, like cardigan, whatever you want to call it, isn't that bad. I don't know if I'm in love with the texture, but like it's not horrible. Again, I feel like it could be done well with a different outfit. The shoes are fine. it's when you put it all together that it bothers me. And mostly these pants. Okay, these pants I think are unforgivable. Because please tell me why. First, okay, let's just look at it without talking about the material, because I didn't realize what material these were made out of at first. And then that just like completely pushed me over the edge. In general, I don't think that these are my favorite. I do like the ruffle at the bottom, and I think that like the corset, I almost said crocheting, the corsetting up the side can be cute. But like knee length pants are never going to be a thing that I'm the most fond of. I just don't think that it's like a cut that I particularly enjoy. It's like in that awkward space between shorts and capris, and I don't like it. I just don't think that it's cute in general. But then when you zoom in and you look at what this is made of, these pants are pleather. Please tell me why Chloe is wearing pleather, loose fitting, knee length blue pants. It's just terrible. I just hate every second of it. I think it's awful. Again, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole if you love this doll. This is irredeemable to me. She is so bad. So, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to spend my money on her. Okay, almost done. We are on our final brand for the day, and that is Monster High. Starting off with a collector doll, Monster High did a collab with another designer, Harris Reed, to create the Witch Weaver doll. And I wanted to love this doll so much because I think so much of this is really, really cool. They're kind of, I don't remember if like they have assigned the doll pronouns. So I'm just saying they, but they have like a very androgynous look to them. They have a male body and then like a feminine face sculpt that they use to create this doll, which I think is really cool. It feels like very non-binary coded, which I'm a big fan of as a non-binary person myself. The outfit in general, I think is super fun. We've got these like pants that flare out dramatically at the waist with this sheer, there we go, sheer fabric, and I think it is super, super cool. The dramatic sleeves, y'all know that is right up my alley. I love dramatic sleeves so, so much. The headpiece is amazing. And then we get to the face. And there's a couple of things here. I said, what video was it? I think it was reacting to the Doll Awards. I think it was that one. But I talked about how in general, I feel like I don't tend to like Monster High dolls that have more humanoid features. Like, I understand I am a fan of Cleo, and like Cleo is definitely the most humanoid out of the main cast of characters in Monster High. But just in general, I feel like I don't tend to like Monster High dolls that, again, are more like humanoid, that don't have really any outstanding monster characteristics. Like the Wednesday dolls was specifically what I was talking about in the Doll Awards video, that I just was not a fan of them. And I think that the fact that they're like human or human adjacent characters is what bothers me, because they look very, very human, and it just doesn't feel right with like the Monster High face mold and everything. So that is part of what bothers me. But the other thing that really irritates me is I personally feel like this screening feels like it doesn't fit the mold. Like it just doesn't feel like it was executed in a way that I like. I mean, if you zoom in really far and you look at the lips, you can literally see where like the lip line is of like the sculpt, and then the print is smaller than the lip line. And I don't know if that was a stylistic choice. Like, I don't know if that was intentional or like what the situation was. It just looks really jarring to me, and it's so upsetting because I really, truly love everything else about this doll. I think this doll is so, so pretty, but I just cannot abide by the face. Like, it just doesn't work for me. Also, like the random like spiderweb situation. I don't know. I really don't like the face. So I didn't end up getting this doll. And I am like slightly sad about that, just because I really, really do love everything else. But I wasn't going to spend all this money on a collector doll knowing that I hate the face, and like knowing I'd either have to repaint the face or like find a different head to go on here. I just wasn't here for that. So yeah, this one's a tough one, because again, I really, truly love so much about this doll. But the face is kind of a big part of a doll. And if I don't like that, I can't justify spending my money on it. Next up, we got stock photos for a G3 Draculaura with a little scooter situation, and I do think this is quite cute. I think the scooter's precious. The big thing that I love is Count Fabulous. I think it is so, so precious. The little helmet, that's so cute. The Draculaura is fine. I don't really have any strong feelings about her. The set is definitely like less fashion focused and more like cool scooter, and that's super chill. I just don't tend to focus on like doll vehicles in my collection. I think I only have one. I have like the little non cat car because it's a cat, obviously. But other than that, I don't think I have any other like vehicles in my collection just because it's fine. I don't think it's ugly or anything. It's just not something that I tend to feel super strongly about. So I don't really dislike anything about this Draculaura, but I don't like her enough to want to buy her. And then lastly, to round out the video, technically not a doll, but it's doll adjacent, so we're talking about this. Monster High is coming out with some little keychains for the pets. So we have one for Crescent, Count Fabulous, Neptuna, and then Watsy. Is it Watsy this gen? I almost said Watsit, and then I was like, hold on, I'm pretty sure it's just Watsy. But yeah, so they're coming out with like little keychains, and these are cute. They are like a DIY crafting sort of situation where all of the pieces come separate, and then you like pop them into place on the keychain, and then you like create the keychain yourself, which I do think is really, really cute. And think I think that Count Fabulous is probably my favorite. I just think that one's really cute. The Neptune is also pretty adorable. These I think are only going to be like $4 or $5. Like they're going to be very, very affordable. So I don't really know what's stopping me from wanting them, to be honest. Like it's such an affordable thing. I do think that they're cute. I like the fact that you get to put it together yourself. I think it's more just like I can't see myself going out of my way to try to find these to buy them. Like maybe I will end up picking up the Count Fabulous one. There's a possibility that I'll change my mind on that if I like happen across it, but I just don't feel strongly enough to like seek these out, if that makes sense. So I think it's cool that they exist. I think these are a cute idea and cute designs, but probably just not for me. But yes, guys, that rounds out the dolls and doll adjacent items that I don't plan on buying. Obviously, as per usual, I would love to hear your thoughts on everything that I discussed today, whether you agree with me or you think that I am way off base in my opinions. It's just always fun to hear your thoughts on the dolls that I discuss in these videos. And as I said, definitely be on the lookout for the dolls I do want video. It's going to be shorter, but it'll be positive. So like, there is that. I think if I maintain the schedule that I have in my head, I think this video is going to be going up on a Friday. So the dolls I do want video will be coming out on a Monday. So you can be on the lookout for that one. But yes, that is it for me for today. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, whatever it might be. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.